Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm an antenatal teacher with Quidu Antenatal Ireland, and I would like to talk to you today about staying at home when you're in the early stages of your labour. This is of critical importance at the moment due to COVID-19 because the hospitals are trying to minimise the footfall in the hospitals and keep mothers, babies and staff members as safe as possible. So they're trying to minimise the amount of time that birthing partners are in the hospital. They're very cognizant that they do want the partners there for supporting the birthing mothers, but they want to minimise it as much as possible. So when a woman comes into a hospital now in labour, she's assessed without her partner being there because the midwives are assessing how far along in the birthing journey that the woman is and assessing whether she can go home if it's too early or go into the pre-labour ward or actually go into the labour ward. And for most of the hospitals in Ireland at the moment, they like the women to be 3 centimetres or more along the birthing journey before going into the labour ward. And once they're in the labour ward, the partner can come from outside, inside, up to the labour ward without contaminating, if they are COVID positive, any other area, and minimising danger to other mothers, newborns and staff. So it's important that the woman can stay at home with the support of her partner and get as far along in her birthing journey as she can before going into the hospital. So what can the woman do in order to do this? When I say in class, you know, what can you do? Like, the most important thing for a woman to do in the early stages of her labour is to relax. So, because when we relax, as Moira said in one of the other videos, when we relax, we're producing oxytocin. And oxytocin is the hormone that is going to cause the uterus to contract and cause the woman to give birth. Okay? So, if we can relax at home in the early stages of our labour and produce the oxytocin, our labour is going to progress lovely. Alright? So the great thing about it is that we all know how to relax already. This is a skill that you and your partner have already before you even got pregnant. And so it's going to really benefit you when you're in labour, all of labour, and it's going to benefit you in the early stages. So I just want to give you 1 minute now just to think about, what do you normally do when you've had a really tough day at work, whether it's at home now or in the office. What do you do in order to help you to relax after a tough day at work, or you've got a morning off? What are you going to do? You just say, I'm going to relax on Saturday morning. What do you do? So just give you a minute just to think about that. So when I'm covering this in class, I'll normally be up at the whiteboard and we'll brainstorm it together. So the kind of things that I hope you've come up with yourself, I imagine you have, a book that comes up in class would be that the woman likes to go and have a bath, she likes to read, watch TV, go back to bed. Some women like to meditate, some people suggest going out in nature, for others to go for a walk, to exercise, to eat, to have a chat with friends, either, you know, messenger or actually, you know, chatting, texting. Some like to do yoga, and when they say yoga, you know, a lot of women will do a yoga class a week, or maybe some will do 2 yoga classes a week, and there's some great ones out there on YouTube. But I encourage women to do a bit of yoga every day, to take 20 minutes out of their day and just do some of the exercises that they really like from one of the classes that they've attended. Because when we're doing yoga, you know, we're focusing on our breath and it just helps us relax. And it's also distracting our mind from what can be going on in our uterus. Some women say they like to knit, others art, and you know, the way there's adult art now, where adult colouring, which is really, really good for relaxation. And do you know that there are actually pregnancy colouring books out there? You might want to look into them. And then women who are hypnobirthing find that listening to their scripts are going to help them relax. So there's a wide range of stuff that we can do to help us relax, and these are things that you might want to be planning for now that will help you when the early stages of your labour. Getting to, and you know, I didn't actually mention that music, a lot of people would say that music helps them relax. So you could start pulling together a music list of, you know, songs or music that you think you'd like to be labouring to. You can be storing up some Netflix series that people are saying you have to watch. Don't watch it yet. Something along the length of Game of Thrones, maybe. I'm joking. But a Netflix that's going to make you laugh, any TV show that's going to make you laugh, or a partner that will help you to laugh, is going to increase your oxytocin. The other thing as well is that some women, you know, find eating relaxing, and eating is something that's important to do in the early stages of your labour at home, because generally when labour is more established and the contractions are coming closer together, women don't tend to want to eat. Some do, no doubt about it, but they don't tend to want to eat. But a woman does need energy. So yes, bring in some food with you that if you are hungry during your labour that you can eat, but do have a nice meal that you are really going to enjoy. And if your partner has made it for you, all the better. You know, to store up that energy, have a good meal, carbohydrate rich, at home in the early stages. So can I paint a picture for you now where you know, your partner gives you a lovely massage and then runs upstairs and runs a bath for you with some candles lighting and, you know, some music playing, and then, you know, helps you into the bath, and then goes down and starts preparing you a lovely meal, and has some candles burning downstairs and, you know, some music playing downstairs when you come down, and, you know, just think of how relaxed that would be. So you can start laying the groundwork for that little scenario for you when you're in the early stages of labour. So these are all things you can do that are going to help you relax and stay calm. And there was a lovely Swedish piece of research done a couple of years ago where they went back to women retrospectively and talked to them about what helped them to stay at home, and, you know, that they went into the hospital when they were further along in their labour. And they all came up with these things that you will have come up with yourselves. But some of them actually called a friend who had given birth before. So somebody who, you know, knew what it was like to labour. And the women just told their friends what was going on. They just had it acknowledged that yes, they were labouring, that it was all starting. And that knowledge just helped keep them away, keep them at home and comfortable for a little while longer, and let their labour progress so that they would have been without their partners for a less period of time, just from that simple thing of calling a friend who doesn't panic. You don't want to call somebody that's going to panic and say, go into the hospital quick. So yeah, and the other thing just about panicking is that not to use one of the apps that are available now for phones, because at some stages they just say, go into hospital, and what's that going to do? It's going to cause somebody to produce adrenaline and decrease their oxytocin, and the relaxation stops. So in summary to all of that, what I want to do is I want to show you this infograph, which was designed by Sinead Thompson, a midwife from the National Maternity Hospital. And she is sharing it now, and she's on a sabbatical, and she's going to be sharing it with the other hospitals around the country. But the infograph is up on the web, and you'll see it here. And what I love about it is that because it's hopscotch, you can go forward, and in hopscotch you go forward and back all of the time. So, you know, just because you had a bath an hour ago doesn't mean you can't go in and have another bath, or, you know, you were down on the mat or on the ball. You can go back on them, you know, it's not something that you just do once in labour. So at the bottom, what she's suggesting that the woman does is that she mobilises, that, you know, she's moving up and down the stairs sideways, that she's doing lunges, that she's squatting, and she's just doing pelvic tilts. So, you know, putting on a bit of rock and roll music and doing an old pelvic tilt will help get the baby down. Then she's suggesting that the woman sits on the toilets with dimmed lights. She's playing music. She's passing urine, as we do when we sit on the toilet. And that she is doing counter pressure. So, she's pressing in on maybe her back, or maybe her partner is pressing in on her lower back, giving her counter pressure. The midwives have known for centuries that sitting on the toilet is a great place for progress. And even before there were toilets like we have toilets now, midwives used to get women sitting on buckets, just because there's something about having our thighs supported and having an opening below us just helps us relax and progress our labour. And then sitting on a stool, using the TENS, breathing, sipping water, which is really important throughout our labour, and using a massage and heat pack. Then we move into the fourth square, which is water. So, and just to focus on our breathing when we're in the bath or in the shower. It's possible to use Entonox when you're in the bath in some of the hospitals. And Entonox is gas and air, by the way. Squatting, taking sips of water again, and just focusing on our breath. Then on the mat, again, your partner is giving you a lovely massage. You're doing those lunges. You're on all fours, and maybe on all fours leaning over your ball, which is just so relaxing. It also helps to get the baby into a good position. And then what she suggests in that square as well is rebozo, which is using a scarf. It's a skill we've learned from Mexican midwives. You might want to Google that one. Then on the birthing ball, doing the figure of 8, hypnobirthing visualizations, moving gently and leaning over. These are all just, and you know what? A labouring woman is going to lean over naturally. It's a pose that when she's having a contraction, she'll just lean forward. It's what we naturally do. And the last square then is using alternative therapies. So acupressure, massage, aromatherapy and homeopathy. So all alternative therapies which can be used in order to help the progress of labour. So I hope you find that helpful, and I have got a video up there which talks about the right time to go into the hospital. And as I mentioned earlier, Moira has a video up there about the hormones, which I mentioned as well, which are so important on our labouring journey. Thanks very much.